Hello, my friends, and welcome to the One Fear Per Year podcast. I am here with an amazing soul by the name of Dan MacQueen. Dan, thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, I am thrilled to be able to talk to you because I know that your life has had a lot of ups and downs. And I want to hear, I know something happened when you were 28 years old that changed dramatically the course of your life. So, can you tell all of our listeners what happened when you were 28?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm living in London, England, jolly old, cup of tea, fish and chips, bad teeth, you know the deal. Working in tech, late nights at the office, Friday nights were fun, keg at the office, polished that off, went to the pub afterwards, night bus home at 3 a.m. It was chaos, it was madness, it was fun. Traveling around Europe in my spare time, I started having these headaches, and they got worse after a few weeks. Painkillers like candy for them as my head was pounding. Headaches were so bad, I was in the tube one day. The tube site zigzag around London, lumbering towards Nine Hill Gate tube station on the District line. Headaches were so bad, vision turned starry and I saw spots. Slowly started to fade to black. It was a race to see who could arrive at the station first, me or the blindness. Arrived at Nine Hill Gate tube station, stepped on the platform, mind the gap, and the lights went out. I couldn't see a thing. I was blind on the tube station in London. So I want to ask you, Janice, able-sighted person your whole life, all of a sudden you're thrust into the depths of blindness on a tube station in London. What do you think? What do you feel? What do you do?
Oh, terrified, confused. Uh, I mean, I guess you ask for help. You would ask somebody nearby maybe to help.
That's a good response. I chose a different route. I decided to stay silent and froze like a statue and just thought, how am I going to get out of this situation? This is a bad situation to be in here. I'm a target. I can't see a thing. What if this is permanent? I don't know what's going to happen here. After the longest 3 minutes of my life, my vision comes back and I carry on my day. But the next day I go storming back into emergency and tell them what had happened. Something's wrong here. I was blind on a tube station in London. What's going on? They ran some tests and again they thought it was vertigo and sent me home. On the way out, they told me I could always get my eyes checked by an optometrist. An optometrist, that's kind of odd, but I'm not a doctor. I don't plan to play one now. So the next day I found myself in Mr. Patel's chair. He was midway through a routine exam when he stops the exam. Excusing himself in the room and he comes back a few minutes later with a sealed envelope which he hands to me. He told me to go directly to Moorfields Hospital, which I did. Well, Janice and listeners tell a lie. I stopped at home first to grab a Jack Reacher book by Lee Child, the phone charger and bite teas. Then arrived at Moorfields Hospital, handed the envelope. They ran the same test there again, then escalated up to Charing Cross Hospital. We're getting somewhere. I'm thinking, this is positive. This is a good thing. Now, it turns out I had a dangerous buildup of pressure in my brain caused from a non-cancerous cyst in my pineal gland, causing the pressure to mount out, causing the vision issues. Now, it turns out I required emergency brain surgery tomorrow. Now, it turns out more was to change altogether. After a frantic back and forth with folks in Canada, the last text message my mom received reads, I'll see you soon, Mom. Think I'll have a new haircut next time I see you. Love, Dan. Mom's in the air flying to London on June 21st, 2014. I'm on the operating table. Something goes horribly wrong. And I have a massive bleed in the brain, a brain hemorrhage. They think the cyst burst when they operated. So Mom lands and finds I'm in critical condition. I was in a coma for 4 weeks, but was in and out of consciousness for months after this. Things were a dead and go. When all was said and done, I was learning how to walk, talk, and smile again. That's where my story kicks off, Janice.
Oh my goodness. So now this podcast is all about fear and walking through fear and how we don't want fear to hold us back. And in that place, I can only imagine the amount of fear that you must have been feeling. Talk to us about the feelings that you had during this time.
Lots of feelings. Woke up from the coma, mom, dad, and brother on the bed. I can't talk, but I'm trying to talk. I go, give me a pen and paper. Point at my brother, I go, you. Write down the pen and paper, I go, get me out of here. And show it to Cam. Hooked up to 13 tubes and noses. My one eye's wonky as hell. Couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair at the stage. He goes, "You're not going anywhere, dude." Fear was there from the start, from the hop. And it took a lot of untangling this in my mind to understand what had happened to me. I've been told, "Hey, Dan, you had a brain hemorrhage. You can't walk, talk, or smile. This is your new reality." But I'm like, just yesterday, I was a healthy, active guy. What's going on here? This isn't my life. This isn't me. And fear was very apparent. And I had to sit with that fear for a number of weeks to get my head around the situation. And I slowly realized that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to the matters, right? The brain hemorrhage didn't kill me. Came pretty close. Coma for 4 weeks is not a good place to be. But I realize now it's what I think about it that matters, not what happened to me. And I have to go through the fear to get at the other side. And I got to that step, one step at a time, chop wood, carry water, and incrementally started building myself back up to rehab and mindset to just navigate this change successfully.
Was there anything in particular that stood out to you during that time of rehab? I mean, having to relearn everything from, yes, smiling. I mean, eating, these kind of things that we take for granted. Do you have any stories or things that really pop out to you about things that helped you during that time, that phase?
Well, I'd like to share a story about this dropping the clicker, if I may, on your podcast. Would that be okay?
Of course.
So, in order to walk, I had to splint 1 hour a night. A splint's like a cast through every leg to gently tease the leg muscle back into shape. It had frozen at an angle in the coma. I couldn't walk. And the first night I wore the splint through the night, no issue, no stress. This will be easy, I thought. This will be easy. Hinting it's not going to be easy, right? The second night, after 20 minutes it was painful. After 30 minutes it was dreadful. After 40 minutes it was unbearable. I buzzed the nurse, take the splint off my leg because I can't handle the pain. But I told them tomorrow we're doing this for an hour. I'm a walker, I can handle the pain. Big talk, right? So the third night they wrap the leg, tie it off with the ankle. Give me the clicker, the nurse call button. They go patrol the Wolfson ward. Now the Wolfson ward was an L shape, so short on this side, long on this side. Short on this side, long on this side. They leave me in that hospital room that smells like only a hospital room can smell. Sanitized, sterilized, clean, but you're wondering what sort of atrocities have been committed on the guys that Lemon's Essence. After 10 minutes, legs painful. After 20 minutes, legs dreadful. After 30 minutes, legs unbearable. I started passing the clicker back and forth, trying to distract myself from the pain. Now, as the pain ratchets up, my throws get more enthusiastic. Until eventually, inevitably, I dropped the clicker and it lands the hard little on the floor 3.5 feet down the ground. Sugar, I say. Janice, I can tell you I did not say sugar. I look over the edge of the bed. There's the clicker there lying on the floor looking back at me. If I get that clicker, I can stop this pain. I can end this monstrosity. Only problem was, if I fall from that height, might break my arm. In fact, I figured about a 50-50 chance to break my arm. A coin flip, not the best odds. I changed tack. I'm trying to untie the splint, but I can't reach that far down. It's tied up at the ankle and at the hip. Help! Help, I'm yelling. But the word of the wolves was an L shape, right? Short on this side, long on this side. Short on this side, long on this side. They're at the far end of the ward. They can't hear me yelling for help. I decided to flip the coin. Drop down and grab the clicker, even if I break my arm. The splint's got to come on my leg that's parted in 1, 2, and 3. I lowered myself off the edge of the bed, and I crashed down in a heap, blankets, wires, cables, it's all to go. The arm holds, and I hammer the clicker, expecting the nurse to come bursting into the room like the bats has been put up. They kind of stroll in 5 minutes later. Wait, on the floor enough. First of all, I say, that's a fantastic British accent there. Where do you say you're from again? Janice, in truth, I did not say that. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to the matters, right? The reason why I'm telling you the story is I learned 3 lessons from this experience. The first lesson being, let's not pass the clicker back and forth. The second lesson was, let's have a splint up at the hip, not the ankle. That way I can entirely should this happen going forwards. And the third lesson, probably most profound, was let's always be solutions-oriented from this moment forwards. When things go sideways in life, which sure as you're born, they will. How do you resolve your issue? How do you fix your problem? That mindset from that story, from that lesson, sunk into me. And I use that in everything going forward from this moment of contact. But solutions-based thinking is so key for this, right? How do you fix your problem? Not what the problem is. How do you fix your problem? That clicker was everything. Even if I broke my arm, the splint had to come on my leg. That's part number 1, 2, and 3. That mindset permeated me from this situation, and I took this forward with everything afterwards.
Wow. Now, and speaking of afterwards, let's talk about what you have done since. Now, well, tell everybody what it is that you do now.
Thanks, Janice. I'm a keynote speaker based in Vancouver, Canada. Speak on change management, resilience, and motivation. So getting on stage now, I've got double vision, which is quite a wild ride. But I'm choosing to go into the fear and doing that regardless of what I feel. Feeling has nothing to do with it. It's what I need to do in my life. I've chosen this path and I'm making this work. But it permeates everything I do.
And when did you make that decision that, you know what, I've been through hell and back, it sounds like, and now I want to inspire other people. I want to encourage other people. I want to give them the mindset tools that I used. How did that come to be?
So I used to give like workshops to outpatients at my old rehab center in Wolfson. I give them a 45-minute talk on resilience and mindset and told my story and hacks I've learned to help navigate change outside of the Norfolk World's Hospital. The feedback I got was that so profound. And then I gave a keynote to Hootsuite, my old employer. And the feedback I got from that was so uplifting and pat on the back. And there's something in here. There's something really in this. I can make this work. When I lost that job, part of a corporate restructuring about a year later, I decided I'm going all in with speaking. This is my path forward. So that's what inspired me to go into speaking and share my lessons learned, because I'm no better or smarter than anyone I speak to. I've just been driven to go forwards, toes over the nose of my board, riding this wave down. I want this to work. I want to show you the lessons learned because it's very simple. Life is very simple. It's binary, yes or no. Keep it simple and watch yourself grow.
And speaking of simple, what are some simple tools for people who feel very stuck in fear, for people who don't see a way forward, who feel very trapped? What would you tell that person?
Great question. This isn't mine, but I heard this online a little while ago and I want to regurgitate it to you and your audience. Write a list of what you can control and what you can't control. Focus on what you can control. Punt what's outside of your control and focus just on the list that you can control. Keep it simple, right? What's in my realm of influence? What's in my realm of understanding and manipulation? And the other list, don't worry about that at all. Keep it very simple. What can you control? Control the controllables. This is a Stoic through line. Stoicism is quite big in my life right now, and that's helped me navigate this change and navigate ups and downs in life.
I really love that. Now, because this is the one fear per year, and of course, you know, we want to walk through fear way more often than that, but the idea is if we at least do something kind of big that we're scared to do every year, it will transform us as a human being. That's kind of been my experience. Is there anything in your life coming up in the future or anything very recent where there's a fear that you have that you know you're going to walk through, but you still have that feeling of fear?
Oh, every day. It's like with the brain injury, you feel like you've unlearned all the lessons you learned previously in life. And I've got to make those mistakes again to learn the lessons. So every time I do something and fail, it's like I feel like an idiot. First of all, I'm like, I should know this. I'm a 39-year-old man. I should know what the hell's going on here. But I make that mistake and I fail and it's public and it's like, this is a mistake. But then I realize, like, you know what? I have to do that one time and then I know the lessons learned. But the key is to go through that fear. Everything good is on the other side of fear. And I can't get hung up on my ego thinking that I'm better than this or I don't need to learn this lesson. Like, no, I need to learn the lesson the hard way. Touch the stove and know what's hot. And that's okay. I have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that fear is something I deal with, you know, on a weekly basis, doing something different and new. I'm like, I haven't done this in a while. I'm going to look foolish doing this, but I'm going to do it anyways because I know the other side of fear is where the good stuff is.
Wow. And actually, you make a great point that yes, you had to relearn everything that you learned as a child. And normally as a child, we don't have as many fears, like the fears of people judging us, the fear of criticism. That's what's so cool about being a child. Like you are learning to walk and you fall a gazillion times. You're never like looking behind you going like, did my dad see that? Did my mom see that? Do I look like a fool? It's like
Yeah.
part of, but you as an adult then having to relearn all of these things. um yeah, I could see that just being another kind of layer on that. I mean, on top of that. What when you're giving your keynotes,
Yeah.
what are some of the tools, the techniques, the things that you bring up in your keynotes to encourage people in their changes?
Yeah, I think fostering resilience is something I want to talk about with your group, and that's how to foster resilience. The key word being foster is something you can manipulate and build. It's like a muscle. And that's by repeatedly doing what you say you're going to do, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. Alex Harmozy says, you don't get confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You get confident by doing what you say you're going to do repeatedly, day in, day out, week in, week out. So keep that promise to yourself and watch your confidence grow. I'll give you one example. I go in the pool 3 times a week to swim lengths. It could be 40, 50, 60, 70 lengths. I owe those laps no matter what. Save one exception, Janice. If there's a backstroker in my lane, I can punt the lengths entirely and go directly in the hot tub. No questions asked. I got a special thing with backstrokers. But that's my one caveat with that. But besides that one caveat, I owe those laps no matter what. And I've done that for years. So I know that I can do that. But prove that you can do what you're saying you're going to do. Flex that muscle and watch your resilience grow. But you can do this with anything. It could be a cold shower in the morning. It could be going for a walk a few blocks before work starts. Set the intention and just owe that intention no matter what. Save sickness, save like a backstroker, said that would be your jam. But like keep that promise to yourself. In the mirror, you gotta look in the mirror every night. Did I do what I say I'm gonna do? Yes or no? And just keep doing things you say you're gonna do. And then watch your resilience grow.
I so agree with that. That was one of the huge things for me as a insecure, people pleasing woman. That the more I kept promises to myself and did hard things and walked through fear, the more I was like, oh my gosh, I respect myself more. I have more confidence, and you kind of build on top of that. So I think that consistency that you're talking about is such a great point. And to wrap up, I ask everybody this, and there's no right or wrong answer, but to you, if you were to think of the opposite word of fear for you in your life, what single word would you choose?
Complacent. Complacent meaning you're okay with the status quo. You're not going to go into fear because you don't want to ruffle the feathers or disrupt your little happy equilibrium, even if it's not a good situation. But being complacent is the opposite of fear. So I think like if you're complacent with stuff, you're choosing not to go into fear to change your situation. And that for me is death.
Ooh, that is a unique answer that I've never heard before. And I just, coming from you and where you have been in life, you're just such an inspiration, such a light. I'm honored to know you. I thank you for showing up in the hard times, the good times. I know life is that roller coaster, but I feel like the people who have been through the most pain and heartbreak and a lot of fear and make the choice as you have come out just beaming and shining and truly able to encourage other people to walk through their own fear and their own pain and their own heartache. So thank you for that, Dan, and everybody listening. Just be encouraged. Be encouraged to speak your truth, to walk in your light, to truly shine in this world and ultimately fulfill your own purpose. Thanks, everybody.